Good afternoon, and I didn't want to share that with you. Let me just cover this up. You see my real name. Then again, if you're following me on Twitter, at BuffBinStuffed, that's at BuffBinStuffed, you'll know what my real name is anyways. But anyways, what was I going to talk about? I just wanted to address something that seems to be a very common mindset here, and this is not so much a pro wrestling thing, but pro wrestling fans can definitely chime in on this, and I know a lot of pro wrestling fans who are MMA fans have a better understanding of this term, and some die-hard MMA fans, and I don't wish when I do this video to talk down to you or patronize you or condescend you, and if I come across as that, I truly apologize, because I don't mean to do that, and that's not what the theme of this video is. This is just a quick video I wanted to do while I drink my Yasmin tea, and I just wanted to point something out. When I did the Nick Diaz and Anderson Silva video, which has been a very successful video, and thank you everybody for commenting on that. God bless every single one of you. Somebody inboxed me the other day and was like, well, this fight doesn't make sense anyways, because this is like, Nick is a welterweight, Anderson is a middleweight, rankings, they should be fighting within their own weight classes, blah blah blah. Why would you do this fight? And I had to explain to them, this is a big fight. This is a fight is perfect to do this fight. You're always going to need big fights, big attractions, things that draw in people. This is the fight business. And the key word was fight business. And it seems to me that a lot of fans, they either haven't accepted that or they just don't understand it. And to me, it's like throughout the years of the sport of MMA and even in boxing, pro wrestling, you know, because they understand what they are, kickboxing to an extent at times, there are going to be fights that happen and it's going to have nothing to do with rankings and nothing to do with who's number one and who's number two and who's number three. Fights are going to happen because they're big fights, and I also think fighters don't understand that too, and I'll get onto that later. And to me, it's like, I understood that perfectly when I was 15. I understood it even more when I got older. I understood it. I understood there was a reason why John Fitch, who as skilled as he was, as tough as he was, as hard as he was to finish on the ground or standing up, and the fact that he mowed through competition with his style, I understood why Josh Koscheck was picked ahead of him, why Jake Shields was picked ahead of him, why Thiago Alves was picked ahead of him, while all these other contenders, Dan Hardy was picked ahead of him for a shot at the title, even though Fitch's win-loss record was significantly better than all of those guys. I understood why that was the case, because it's the fight business, and Koscheck, who will talk up, who has a bit of a personality and can be a polarizing figure, who has been involved in so many incidents, who just has that villainous aura to him, that is more marketable if he wins 2 fights in a row versus John Fitch, who wins 6 fights in a row in a certain fashion. It is more marketable for them to do Koscheck, because in the promotion you can play off of that so easy, so easy. There's a reason why a lot of things happen in the UFC, because it's a business. It's the fight business. There's a reason why Chael Sonnen got his fight with John Jones after losing to Anderson Silva, getting beaten by Anderson Silva, getting finished by Anderson Silva. And I do agree, there were guys in the rankings or in the light heavyweight weight class that you could say deserved that title shot more. But again, it's the fight business, and when you have someone as marketable as Chael Sonnen calling out the world champion John Jones, creates a huge buzz on the internet, on Twitter. I remember when that whole John Jones Chael Sonnen incident happened, and I will never forget that whole day. The traffic I got that evening was phenomenal, and I knew right there and then they were going to make that fight by the end of the year, because it's the fight business. And when you are trying to, you know, you always need your next big fight, and when you're always looking for your next big fight, you've got to, you know, you've got to go there. There's a reason why Miesha Tate was given a title shot against Ronda Rousey, even though that you could argue she lost her last fight. Kat Zingano was injured, and who else was there? There was other people that won fights, but there was a reason why Miesha Tate was made the coach and given the title fight, despite the fact that she'd lost her last fight. The reason why Ronda Rousey and Miesha Tate, it's a marketable story. We already know what happened the first time, and even though we know Rousey beat her, there's so much heat there, and there's so much you can do from a promotional aspect. And now in a bigger audience with the UFC, where you need big fights every event, every show, you have two people that, for all intents and purposes, hate each other, and it's far more marketable to have a fight where you have your audience believe that fighter A and fighter B despise each other. That makes it far more interesting. It sells more tickets, it gets more traffic, it puts more money in their pockets. It's the fight business. There's a reason why some of these fights happen, and you know what, I actually think that the fighters don't understand that, and I'll name names. I'll have no problem naming names. Jon Jones, great fighter, excellent fighter. You will never hear me say he's a bad fighter. He is a truly gifted athlete and fighter. But Jon Jones picked Glover Teixeira over the Gustafsson rematch the first time because he thought that would be a bigger fight. It's not the bigger fight. Alexander Gustafsson, Jon Jones #2, was the bigger match to have happened. Given the timing of everything, given how the first fight went, given how everybody talked about it, that finally someone had gone in there and actually taken it to Jon Jones in a way we never thought possible. Defend his takedowns, take him down, outbox him, actually make him look vulnerable, bust up his lips, bust up his face. Jon Jones had to be helped out, assisted out. He did a number on Jon Jones, and people were talking that was probably the greatest exhibition of mixed martial arts of all time at that weight class. And now everybody wants to see the whole fucking world wants to see #2 because it's an intriguing fight, it's an intriguing tale, and we think that Gustafsson might be in his head a little bit too, and also the fact that Jon is this perceived as this cocky person, this arrogant person that kind of doesn't know everything that he thinks he knows, and to see someone kind of give him his comeuppance in a rematch is a very big story versus Glover Teixeira, who is another very good fighter. But I'll tell you right now, more people wanted to see Gustafsson and Jones #2 than Teixeira and Jones. And to me, it's like Jon Jones is like, oh, it's the bigger fight, it's the bigger fight. And the funny thing is, Jon Jones is one of the people that mouths off about wanting to be in big fights all the time. I've looked at my pay-per-view business. I don't want to do a rematch with Lyoto Machida. I want a big match. I want a big fight. And then when he was offered Chael Sonnen, he wouldn't take it. And he still kind of didn't understand it's the fight business. That's just my opinion. And listen, I'm not scared to say that to his face. Respect him as an athlete. Think he's a great fighter. Listen, you might be tougher than me. I don't give a shit. I will say what I want to you in a respectful manner. I don't agree with that. I personally don't agree with that. And I think he doesn't completely understand it's the fight business. And he doesn't understand why fans dislike him. Or some fans dislike him, because it would be wrong to say all fans, but a lot of fans dislike him. Fighters don't understand it's the fight business, and you always have to, in my opinion, you've got to train, several hours a day. You've got to study footage, you've got to diet, you've got to do all of that. You've got to come out there and you've got to put on a show. And also, when you're doing those interviews, and your interview is basically, and this is my favourite interview, we have them in pro wrestling. Me and my friend joke about it. What's the driving down the highways, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, all the months of training and hard work culminate at ROH, best of the best. And I don't mean to say ROH, by the way. Those kind of generic promos, and we get them in MMA, and they usually go something like this. Really, hold on, let me have a sip of this. I'm really focused on my training. Trained with some new guys. I rolled 4 times a week, and just really excited. Just working on my striking. I'm working on my overall game, and this should be a great fight. And I really think that I should get work my way up towards a title shot, and that kind of interview. And it's just like, oh, for fuck's sake, I'm gonna take a shit. Wait there. I'm going to use the toilet and I'm going to take a shit, and then maybe when something more interesting is being said, I'll come back. You see that kind of interview, or you see this one. Post-fight, it's the fight business. Post-fight, you have just won your fight, right? The whole world is going to be listening to you right now. And to me, it's like, if I was fighting and I had a post-fight interview, I don't think it's disrespectful to call out a name in your weight class. And I don't know why fighters have such a hang up, because they all think this fight business stuff is disrespectful to martial arts, and I think it's a bunch of bullshit, to be honest with you. And I do train martial arts, so I do know that. And when guys come out there and they say, oh, it's disrespectful to the sport, calling people out. No, it's not. I want to test my skills against Gilbert Melendez because he's a fun fighter to watch. He fights hard. His style and my style mix up very, very well, and I think the fans would love to see it. Guess what? You've now excited fans about wanting to see that fight. Pretty much, because you put the idea and now fans get the visuals. Wow, Gilbert Melendez versus this guy. Oh my goodness, yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that. Joe Silva now has his job made easier because it's like, well, I'm going to put that fight together. Let's do it. When fighters get the microphone and they don't understand it, and I know when fighters don't understand it, because when they get the microphone and they do this, Joe Rogan's like, alright, I'm here with the winner. And then they get the microphone and they go, I'll fight whoever they tell me to fight. I just like to thank my team and Jesus, and no disrespect to Christians, and my girlfriend, and I'll fight whoever they want. And it's like, oh, for fuck's sakes, call someone out. It's not disrespectful. And these people are, oh, it's so disrespectful, it's so disrespectful. Misha Tate doesn't get it, that it's the fight business, even though I just used her as an example. But when Ronda Rousey called her out, she really took that as a disrespectful thing, didn't she? And then she's like, well, everyone hates Brock Lesnar, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, really? If people hated Brock Lesnar in the way that you claimed, would they have paid all that money to see him fight? Because fans, I don't think fans are that stupid. They know that that money is going in his back pocket. If you really hate someone, do you want them to profit off of your own hatred? I don't think fans hate him as much as people claim. It's the fight business. It is the fight business, this is what I'm getting at. And I think fans don't understand it. And yes, there's a reason why Brock Lesnar skipped Fabricio Verdum back in 2009? 2008? There's a reason why this fighter skips that fight. There's a reason why Koscheck got there before Fitch. There's a reason why Daniel Cormier will end up getting a title shot by the end of the year against John Jones rather than Gustafsson if Jones wins. There's a reason why certain fights happen. There's a reason why people want to see Nick Diaz versus Anderson Silva. It's about the majority versus the minority. And even if sometimes I don't like it, even though sometimes I feel maybe a certain fighter really does deserve that, I do understand that it's the fight business and you've got to put on big fights. You're always going to need big fights. And every time fans talk about, well, they need big fights, and then they've had the opportunity to have them, and the fans be like, no, don't do that, it's the rankings. Stuff like that gets in the way of it. And then you're like, well, where was our next big fight? To me, it's the fight business. You have to promote, you have to make your things bigger, you have to really go out there, and you have to attract the majority as well as the minority. And sometimes as a happy medium, I think you should put on a big fight, like do a Diaz and Silva fight. I think it would be phenomenal to watch. Do Diaz and Silva, and then why not get some up-and-coming prospects on that card and a strong semi-main so that the other guys can benefit off of the exposure. And hopefully some of these fighters get that. Wow, I am fighting in perhaps with the biggest audience I've ever fought on. I better put on a show. I better really make sure some of those fans that have tuned in come away and become fans of me. That's what I would be thinking if I was on that kind of card. Anyways, I'm going to stop. I am parched. I'm going to stop right now. Sorry it's a bit of a rant or a tirade. I don't know if it made sense to everybody out there, but it made sense in my head. You let me know what you think. Do fans and fighters truly understand the term fight business? You let me know. Do you think it's unfair? Do you like it? Have you come to terms with it? I want to know all opinions about this. And guys, if you haven't before, comment, rate, subscribe, hit that subscribe. Wow, look at those veins. Hit that subscribe button. I'm going to do many videos, as much videos as I can. And yeah, that is me done for the day. Take care, peace, and love you all.